Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Learn Together program. My name is Eva, thank you for joining us. This is our last webinar for this school season, so I hope you'll enjoy it. As some of you already know, these webinars were initiated by Microsoft Croatia with the intention to bring educational projects closer to teachers and educators across Europe. Today our guest is Mrs. Miriam Schembri from Malta. Miriam is an experienced educator whose projects won many international awards. She also participated at Innovative Teachers Forum with her project Tell Me a Story. You'll be able to ask Miriam questions after her presentation. If you have any difficulties with using live meeting, please don't hesitate to contact our technical support Marco. You can do that by double-clicking his name. Miriam, thank you very much for accepting our invitation to present your project. It is a pleasure to have you here with us. So let's hear more about ICT in the early years.
Thank you, Eva. Hello, everybody. As Eva said, today's topic is ICT in the early years. I teach children who are 4-year-olds. I have been teaching for 27 years when there were no technology around. I believe strongly in integrating ICT in the everyday routine of my life. I will be sharing my practice, my ideas on technology, and my experiences. ICT is an integral part of children's everyday lives, and at home they come in contact with mobile phones, television remote controls, and toys that have buttons and particular functions. Outside the home they see cash registers, barcode scanners, traffic lights, automatic doors, security cameras, and the list can go on and on. Our earlier settings need to reflect a familiar technological environment where we can build on children's experience, and out of their natural curiosity they will be able to explore not only how technology works, but how it fits into their world. ICT is as much a part of children's world as literacy and numeracy. They learn all sorts of things about ICT without our influence and make the most of the opportunities they encounter. Our aim is to create as many of these opportunities. What are the benefits of ICT? Well, ICT can enhance children's learning when it is embedded in other aspects of the curriculum and not used simply for its own sake, but as a tool for learning. Planning for an earlier setting should be flexible and adaptable to integrate ICT in all areas of children's development and targeted to develop specific skills. Technology provides a lot of opportunities for language and literacy development, where children can use writing programs to write their names and small messages. Whilst digital stories are very attractive to young children, recording the children promotes speaking, sequencing skills, exploring, communicating, and expressing their ideas and feelings. A wide range of counting and numeracy using different applications can be planned to develop problem-solving and mathematical knowledge. Counting nursery rhymes are also a favorite with young children, and whilst they are pleasurable, they are also educationally effective. Developing the child's knowledge and understanding of the world, ICT devices like digital camcorders and metal detectors can be taken outdoors, where children can explore and discover the stimulating world around them. Using real and pretend technology in the role-play area sets a powerful context for imaginative play, as the technology reinforces the reality of the children's day-to-day activities in the real world. Sharing equipment, taking turns, and collaborating targets personal, social, and emotional development. ICT also promotes fine motor skills and physical development. Using a mouse provides an exercise in hand and eye coordination. Creative development takes another perspective with the use of ICT, and the use of graphic software paves the way for young children to scribble, make marks, draw, and erase. ICT also offers the possibility to be creative with sounds, music, and video. In playful situations, children learn the nature of cause and effect and realize that their decisions and choices have consequences. Opportunities in using ICT shouldn't be restricted to just computers, but should include all kinds of electronic devices which will enhance learning and not simply use for their own sake. Giving access to empowering tools, children will gain autonomy, be creative, and access learning activities and experiences that would not be possible in any other way. Using ICT gives the opportunity to children to collaborate and learn together with peers and with adults through innovative and exciting ways. We will now be looking at what tools and devices we can use and how to use them creatively. Drawing programs. We all know that it is difficult to draw using a mouse, but still children love drawing programs, and they can enable children to do some things that they can do on paper. These are my favorite drawing programs. TextPaint is an open source program and downloadable easily for free from the internet. It has an easy to use interface with an encouraging mascot who guides children as they use the program. The best part of this program is the stems, which make it ideal for the children to create scenes. Through this type of software, young children learn to recognize icons and to associate them with specific functions. They are generally confident to experiment and learn how to use the software by trial and error and by watching each other. You can also insert images in PNG format to add to the stems, especially if you have a particular theme running. The children also love the fun sound effects this program has with some of the stems. Another one of my favorite drawing programs is Sketchful, which is a site, so you need to have an internet connection. It is a safe site due to the fact that there are moderators who regularly check up on the site. It is a very simple drawing program with just a basic color scheme and the thickness of paint brushes, plus an undo button. If one creates an account, drawings can be saved and sent by email to others. Drawings can be sent to parents. It also has the features where once you receive a drawing, you can also continue to draw on it. The way I love to use this site is when I am working on a project with other European teachers, and one child starts a drawing and sends it to the other class, where another child continues on this drawing and then sends it back. This can go on till the children are satisfied with the drawing. Another feature I like is the replay feature, where you can see the finished product being drawn step by step. Using this site on interactive whiteboard is fantastic, as children can draw with their fingers. If I want to scaffold the children's learning, I move on to Microsoft Paint, which is a little bit more complicated to use due to the fact that to fill a shape with the paint bucket, the shape will have to be closed totally, or else the bucket will fill the whole page with color. I can literally see the children thinking how to avoid this from happening. I also scan the children's drawings and put them in paint for them to trace over and fill in. Now I will share with you a video of a child painting on Microsoft Paint. Here the tools are a bit more difficult because there are more tools to choose from. And she's drawing on an interactive whiteboard. Here the topic was rain, and she's doing the whole water cycling with the rain falling and then going up again into the sun. She's drawing fish, and she has to be very careful to close the whole outline. Look at that. She missed it, and the whole page turned orange. Now I have to get back to my presentation. Okay, we're in. Now we'll talk about digital cameras. Okay. So, a common everyday tool in my classroom is a digital camera. The children are free to take photos when they feel that they want to record an event or something which takes their interest. When children capture an image, they can see them instantly through the display in the camera. They can photograph things they like and don't like. They like to photograph their friends and photograph themselves. Often quiet and withdrawn children can smile spontaneously as they see themselves in photographs and be encouraged to speak in a familiar group. I have observed that giving children a digital camera increases their self-esteem, which in turn motivates and develops a disposition for learning. With photography, we teachers can look into the world of these young children who sometimes lack the necessary vocabulary to express their likes and dislikes. I also tried this technique with an autistic child in my class, and he loved the camera so much that his parents got him one of his own. It was difficult for him to express his feelings and his likes and dislikes, but he could do it by taking photos, and we could also see what was interesting him, and it became our tool of communication. Sometimes it is very surprising to us adults as to what interests children. I like to take the digital camera outside into the school garden, where the children are encouraged to take photos, and they record all kinds of mini beasts and flora, and observation skills are developed in a fun way. Children take photos throughout the different seasons, and these can be compared to see the change, for example, in trees, leaves, and flowers. They learn that different seasons bring different insects and mini beasts, like the snails which come out after the first rain in autumn, and the ladybirds in spring. This way, lessons will come alive. Another device I like to use in my classroom is the camcorders, where children can let their imaginations go. Kids around the ages of 4, 3, and 5 ordinarily have very active imaginations. Giving children exposure to communicative tools like a camcorder will give them the choice of experimenting with their own imaginative growth. Handling a camcorder needs some skills, like clicking the record button and seeing that the video is rolling, and when to switch off. Also, learning to hold the camera still so as not to have a jerky movie. You can literally see the children concentrating very hard whilst filming, which is another skill they will be learning in a fun way. Children love to act like grown-ups, and handling a camcorder is a very grown-up thing. Perhaps the toughest part of being a grown-up is accepting responsibility. Taking care of equipment and following the rules, like turn-taking, is a way to teach responsibility. Watching the video clips, the children will be able to recall experiences and organize their thinking. I also record the children speaking about their ideas, stories they invent, and about things they see around them. When I am outdoors, I use portable microphones and record the children talking about what they observe around them. In class, I use a normal microphone. After making a digital drawing, children are encouraged to narrate a story about the drawing, which I record and then combine into a photo stories. Now, what can the children do with the photographs and videos? Children can choose photos they like and those which they don't like. Usually this takes the form of a discussion and decide as a whole class which ones to delete or keep. They are encouraged to talk about the photos and describe what they have captured. If it's possible, the children are asked to sequence the photo session, especially if it is a school outing or an interesting activity in class. I am able to assess if the children are able to recall experiences. Finally, we make a photo story and combine the photos with the children's recorded narrations. I will show you now a video of the children choosing and deleting photos. They are discussing if they like the photo as a whole class, not just the person who took the photo, because now it has become the class property. And we are using Microsoft Picture Manager. I think it is a very easy tool to handle. So you see the delete is just a cross, and the children can understand the cross. And yes, they get used to the word yes. Now back to the PowerPoint. Yes, it's coming up. Okay. So I also use a digital microscope, which is a fantastic gadget and one of my favorites. It allows access to the microscopic world and gives the opportunity to view the results electronically. Screenshots can be taken, whilst also video clips can be captured. The children were able to see caterpillars on a computer screen moving and munching leaves. Then they could see the caterpillar forming into a chrysalis and finally becoming a butterfly. It was a fantastic experience. They observed flowers with this digital camera, microscopes, and they could see the tiniest of insects in the flowers, which cannot be seen with the naked eye. They also enjoy using the digital microscope to investigate parts of the body, different fabrics and seeds. And now I will share with you the children using the digital microscope. This is a handheld microscope, and it's shaped like an egg, and I find that it fits very well into the children's hands. Here they are looking at the caterpillars. And young children need to handle things and manipulate. So with this activity, the children could handle the caterpillars whilst also using the technology. This process was made into a video, and then we combined the whole process to make a life cycle of a butterfly. They are really fascinated when they see on the computer. Now, this boy's attention has moved. He wants to see his eyes and face with the digital microscope. Children do love to explore and discover. Now, we will talk about B-bots. The children are fascinated with B-bots. Well, what is a B-bot? It is a programmable toy. I'll find this slide. That's it. So this is a programmable toy. The children give it the direction of forward, backward, turn left, or turn right, and the number of moves it has to make. This provides an opportunity to explore the language of direction and numbers, and to start predicting how far the toy might need to move and in what direction. Children engage in playful exploratory activities which provide interactions between the children and with adults. It gets children to speak, listen to one another's ideas, and develop a shared understanding through discussion and debate of the final sequence of key presses. By learning how to input instructions into the keypad, children have experiences of making things happen. Again, I will show you a video clip of the children using the b-board. Here, the children were learning about the letter ch, some Maltese letter, and these are all words starting with that letter. So they had to find a word and say the vocabulary, and then direct the b-board to it. And that's it, and the b-board has arrived safely. They too make mistakes, but by trial and error they learn. These b-boards, when you buy a b-board, you can have ready-made mats, but you can also make your own tailor-made ones, according to the topics you want to work on. This was an alphabet activity. I also do maths activities, or else sequencing a story. There are loads of things to do. Okay, now we talk about the internet as a resource, which is a limitless resource. Applications should be carefully chosen to have some educational potential and encourage creativity and any other worthwhile learning outcome. Products that were not intended for educational purposes might sometimes be effectively applied educationally by creative early childhood practitioners. One of my favorites is www.voki.com, where children create an avatar and record a message, or their own singing. This promotes speaking skills. In Malta, our children start learning the English language from a very young age, and in our kindergartens we introduce children to the language, so I find nursery rhymes and stories in English on YouTube to show to the children. The appealing visuals and the shortness of the video clips keeps them focused and attentive. There are also loads of sites with stories and games. We also follow interesting news items on news website, where children can watch video clips or photos of this particular event. One example is when there was the storm weather all over Europe in December, I think it was, and in Malta we had this fantastic sunny weather and it was still warm. So we went on the news and the children watched it and they got interested in the snow, and from there we built another topic about snow. We also use a search engine to find images according to the topics we are working on. And another favorite of the children is dancing to music, where I show them a video clip of a ballet or other dance choreographies, and children dance to the music, trying to imitate the dancers. This is a lot of fun. Here we can see some photos. This is a game, video clips from the YouTube, and this is the Voki. Look, this is very interesting, the Voki. This is one of my favorite websites, Jigsaw Planet. I use this website by preparing images which include vocabulary, and I upload to make a digital jigsaw puzzle. My aim is for the children to see the written words whilst playing around with the jigsaw puzzles. Another method is to put in numbers for counting. And whilst playing, the children will be learning. Interactive whiteboards open up a whole new way of using ICT to support teaching and learning. They offer interactivity, more engaging presentation, and collaborative whole class teaching. Flip charts can be prepared using the interactive whiteboard software, but any software and resource can be used as long as it lends itself to being manipulated, used interactively, and collaborated over by the children. The interactive whiteboard is a social learning tool. Because the screen is large and can be seen from a distance around the room, ways can be found to connect the use of the board with children's experiences in other areas. For example, creating a design which children can mold from Play-Doh. Project work. When planning themes and topics for my kindergarten class, I see where I can implement the use of ICT in all areas of the children's development. This project, Tell Me Your Story, was presented in the Innovative Forum in Microsoft, and it is based on 3 stories which I prepared using PowerPoint. They have a lot of animation, and I recorded my voice saying the stories, and themes were created around the stories. And I integrated ICT in all the activities. Examples of the use of ICT in an early year setting are presented here. I also participate in collaborative eTwinning projects alongside other European teachers. Projects are planned where children work together on common themes and communicate, share and learn from each other through the use of ICT. And we have access to a platform offered by the eTwinning support service. This opens a new dimension to children, and they participate in activities like video conferencing, where they meet face-to-face with children from other countries. Being twinned with a foreign school also encourages cross-cultural exchanges of knowledge, fosters students' intercultural awareness, and improves their communication skills. That's it from me. Thank you for your attention. Now, if you have any questions, I will answer them.
Miriam, thank you so much for presenting these great ideas for educating young learners. I hope everyone here found it useful and will maybe use it in their own classrooms. After this webinar, you will all receive a link to the recording in case you want to see it again. And of course, you can also forward it to your colleagues. If anyone has a question for Miriam, you can ask questions by writing them down in the Q&A section. So Miriam, let me ask you, do you have enough support from the principals of your school to use ICT in your classroom? Do they approve it?
Well, in the beginning, I was, I think, the first teacher in the school who got hooked on ICT. And teachers felt that I was a threat to them. It was an innovative and new way to teaching. But now, everybody has accepted my ideas, and I have a lot of support from my head, from the teachers, from our learning center, which is central in the education department. In fact, in the summer, I train other kindergarten teachers in the use of ICT, and I think I am an example to other kindergarten teachers and even to primary teachers, in fact. But I have won everybody over.
But how did you start? Who gave you an idea to how to start?
Well, it was eTwinning. eTwinning has been going on for 6 years. You know, I had a computer in the home for my children. We had computers from the very beginning and internet from the very beginning. And then our e-learning center offers us teachers courses. So I attended these courses, but you know, I had no computer in the class. So what was I going to do? I wanted to do things in my class. So I got a laptop and started taking it to schools. And then when I started eTwinning, it gave me the scope to really use ICT, because eTwinning is based on teachers using ICT with the children and for communicating. And then now it's become a common practice in my class, even if it's not for a eTwinning project. Now I've got a computer in my class, because all classes now have computers. And in our kindergarten center, there's also an interactive whiteboard. We've had it for 2 years, but from next year, an interactive whiteboard will be installed in every class, in kindergartens and primary schools, and I think also in the secondary classes.
That's nice. I don't think many teachers around the world have the same opportunities as you. It's very nice. It's great to hear that all the classes in your school actually have computers. It's very impressive. And also the eTwinning is obviously a good advice for everyone here, for everyone who's wondering how to start. I guess eTwinning is a good first step, right?
Yes, it definitely is a good first step. Besides ICT, it gives you also other things. You know, I've got lots of friends from all over Europe. I've got a friend here in one of the audiences who is Fiola.
Fiola, yes, I can see. Fiola, by the way, says thank you, Miriam.
Yes, we were together on a project. In fact, we were runner-up in the Maths and Science section of eTwinning. It was 2 years ago, and the section was open from kindergarten to children aged 19-year-old. So it was a very great achievement. It was a fantastic project. We saw how maths was being worked all over Europe. We were 12 countries in that project, and you know, you share ideas with other teachers, and it doesn't let you get into a rut in your classroom. Literally, you open your doors and windows open to other teachers, and children meets children, and it's developing more and more.
Okay, if you compare classes that don't use ICT and those that use it, can you see a difference in the level of education of kids, in your personal opinion, of course?
Yes, in my personal opinion, there are still teachers, even in my school, who haven't got caught up with the idea of ICT. They're still hooked on worksheets, and whilst I don't use any worksheets, I use the interactive whiteboard and activities on the computer, which I think are more beneficial to the children. And the children are growing up as thinkers, and because they have to do a lot of problem solving. But you know, with just sitting down and doing a worksheet, the teacher tells them, you have to match this to that, draw a line, and that's it. But doing a game on the computer, the children have to really think hard on what to do, whilst the ICT environment, computers, are a safe place for the children to be. So it really gives them a holistic development. If you're targeting, you know, language skills, but they're feeling confidence, so that's targeting also their personal, social, and emotional development.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And these methods, let's say using a camera, is it connected to a particular subject, or do you just use it throughout the day with your kids?
No, I use it throughout the day. Whenever the children feel like using a camera, they can just use it. You know, if they find something which interests them, maybe we're doing an activity and they have done a collage, so they want to take a photo of it. They just ask for the camera and take a photo of their collage. Or but there are particular activities which I say we are going to use the camera. We're on an outing, and if we're going out into the school garden, I love the school garden, and so the children would go out with our cameras and the camcorders, and they record, and we've got loads of photos, and we've got on the desktop, we've got a photo of the child. We change it periodically, and you know, with that autistic boy, it was fantastic. He couldn't speak a word, and so neither his parents nor I really could communicate with him. And he used to, you know, go in front of an object, and I could see that he was hooked on something. When I gave him the camera, I could really enter his mind, and I could see what he was seeing. And I could say, oh, that's why he's going into that particular corner, because that something is interesting him.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so you use these methods in your classroom, but would you recommend parents to use it with their kids at home too? Or do you think that's too much technology for kids?
And, even if parents don't want to give technology to the children, they will take it. If they are digital natives, you know, if they see a mobile phone, they want to touch it.
Yeah, you can't affect that. You're right.
But my advice would be to limit their time on the computer. Because even in my class, you know, we've got one computer and children have to take turns. They stay in twos or threes on the computer. So they're not all the time on the computer. So they can go home and spend 4 or 5 hours on the computer. They have to move around. They need exercise. They need to do other things. But a little bit of time on the computer wouldn't harm them.
Okay, you also have a blog on which you share your ideas and recommendations, right? So we will send a link, that's ictinearlyyears.wordpress.com, but we will send a link later in the email after this webinar.
Okay, that link really is full of tutorials, or, you know, like using the task paint, using Vockies.
Okay, so it's very useful for other teachers and parents to see how you're doing it. They might find some advice on how they could do it too.
Yes, and then there are links on that blog to my other websites, and they see the children working on ICT activities. There's lots of stuff.
Okay, so great. Miriam, thank you again for being a part of this program. It was a pleasure to hear your presentation. It was very interesting. And well, we have come to an end of the last webinar of the season. If you have any comments or ideas, or if there's anything you would like to tell us, please write to us using the email address on the screen. Thank you everyone for being with us. I hope we will see each other again at the end of the year. And in the meanwhile, enjoy the sun and enjoy your holidays. Miriam, thank you again.
Thank you for inviting me.
Bye, everyone.